Hello there, I'm Alice Rwigema. I'm actually excited to be here. I'm a leadership coach, I'm a trainer. Today I have the privilege to learn, to share skills about emotional intelligence.
It's been a while and been busy, very, very busy, but happy to be back.
I know, and you all know that emotional intelligence is actually, we need to know our emotion, not only knowing it, actually how to deal with them, right? And not only emotion, but also the people around us, because we all know that we have different roles as a mother, as a leadership coach, as a manager. We have a lot of roles out there, as a neighbor, as a friend. But how do we actually deal with emotion out there?
Well, that's an important topic, Alice, and it's something that is not really taught. And so it can be difficult to learn the skill of being aware and of controlling your own emotions and reacting to the emotions of those around us. Mm-hmm. So it's important that we're talking about it today. And in the leadership movement now, it's a very hot topic because research has shown that leaders that have emotional intelligence actually perform much better than those leaders that have low emotional intelligence.
Yeah, and I believe you went through a lot, in different, because I know that you've been country director in different health organizations, you've been going through a lot. Just share with us, how is it?
Well, emotional intelligence in the workplace it's an important skill for leaders to learn. And I can give particular examples. For example, I've had an employee who was very good technically, top-notch technical skills, but very poor with working with other people, who preferred to work in their corner, wasn't able to relate with the people around them and with the clients. And because of the low emotional intelligence of that employee, much as he was very good technically, he wasn't able to deliver on his job. So as we are hiring for employees these days, we not only look at the technical skills, but we also assess competences in emotional intelligence, which involves really 5 big components. One is how aware is someone or yourself aware of the emotions that you're going through. Are you able to identify them? Are you able to name them? And the second phase is, are you able to control them, the self-control? Are you able to regulate your emotions instead of letting the emotions control you? And thirdly is the social skills in empathy. How are you able to put yourself in the shoes of another person? And fourthly is also at an organizational level. How are you able to relate with the people around you? Either at workplace or even in social circumstances.
Wow. So I actually hear you saying that emotional intelligence is a skill. Yes, it's a skill that you need to learn, because you all say that we are all work in progress. But I was just wondering about the kids at home. How do you really think that we can actually start at home?
Yeah, that's very important. And emotional intelligence, like you said, it's a skill, not a trait. It's not something that you're born with, it's something that is learned. And the best place to start learning emotional intelligence is children. Right from when they are little, they need to be taught, Mommy is not happy today, and how can I relate with her in that situation, or how can I relate with my friend at school, and that is really the basics of emotional intelligence. For example, teaching kids that if they are angry, they don't have to get a stone and throw it at the TV, but teaching them to learn to identify that they are angry and how to control their anger. And those are skills that can be taught at home. And importantly for us as parents, we need to model those skills. And the kids learn best by do what I do, not do what I say.
Nice.
Yes.
Because when I look at the goal, when we say the goal, like actually all of us, our kids go to kicks, right? So all the goals that you said, like, no, I want you to be good in math, I want you to be good in football, I want you to learn some French, I want you to learn some Chinese. But why do you think we don't actually taught them how to be aware of their emotion, because I really believe that when they start at the early age, it's actually, it's actually good for all of us, not only there at school. So what do you think? How have you been doing it? How have you been modeling your kids at home?
It's a social skill that is learned first from themselves, being aware of their own emotions and controlling their emotions, but also being aware of the emotions of those around them and being able to relate. And that skill starts in the children, but also applies to us as adults. In the workplace, for example, Alice, you've been a leader in many places, you've worked in different organizations, and you can testify that until recently, not many organizations were actually identifying emotional intelligence or even measuring it in our performance assessments. So can you give us your experience on how we can incorporate emotional intelligence in the workplace, because there are definitely benefits to it?
Yeah, for me, I really think that as a leader, we need to be really open. And we actually, for me, I need actually to start knowing exactly my emotion. When I know my emotion, it's actually easy for me to, to overcome it or to control it. And for me, actually, how I do it is like whenever I actually have emotion, I need to write it down in a paper, go through it, and then see exactly how am I actually going to do differently. And the reason why we actually put in place some training in emotional intelligence. People, we need to talk about it. People need to know it. People need to know that by actually knowing it, it's easy for them to change it, because they need to discuss themselves, and also be patient for all the people that we are working with, because we are all in diversity. We are actually, everybody has different expertise. The reason why we want to put all this expertise on the table. So start actually talk about it in the, in the work office, how to work on it, how to overcome it. And I think the communication on it is actually good. And I really believe that the reason why we are having it, more often, this discussion, we had the same discussion last week in BCA leadership. We are going to have another one on the ICO cohort. So we need to talk about it, and then, what do you think?
I hear you saying that it starts with us as individuals, and especially the leaders, because people look up to you and you lead by example. So starting with us as individuals, are we aware of our own emotions? For example, am I able to tell that I am going through a highly stressful moment, and that may not be the right moment to send a verbally or written loaded email with lots of negative words. So I've found that I need to, for myself, need to recognize that I am going through a highly emotional moment and defer to make decisions during those moments. For example, if I need to send an email that may not be very pleasant, I would rather sleep over it and then review it again in the morning and send it out. And that is an example of self-regulation or self-control. But like you also said, having an organizational culture that incorporates emotional intelligence, training and development is very important for our staff, for our employees, and having them go through even self-assessments of where am I as an individual on the emotional intelligence quotient. So we usually talk about IQ, but we have to measure ourselves on EQ as well. And there are scales out there that organizations can use for measuring emotional
just imagine our world, when we actually have many people who can actually control their emotions.
Wow. That would be
the best,
that would be a world where there is inclusivity, where there is tolerance, acceptance, and everyone working together. That's like the ideal world
that we actually
and we should be aiming towards that. It's achievable, and that's where as leaders we need to get coaches to develop ourselves in emotional intelligence, but also organizationally have a culture that promotes high emotional intelligence.
You just actually mentioned about coach, and I think really us as a leadership coach, we're also having like some mentors out there, and I believe that us as a coach, we're not going to teach people actually on emotional intelligence, but actually going to unlock their potential. We want them to have this discussion. When they're having emotion, they're having like some burnout, when they come to a coach, and then you have at least someone who can talk to, this unlock this potential that we have. So I really think that us as a coach, you have a lot to do. We have, we need really to make sure that we are close, or we actually have different partners out there so that we can make sure that they also learn from it, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, let me know what your experience as a coach as well, because I know you're also a leadership coach.
It's a movement, Alice, and I'm glad that the coaching movement is growing in Rwanda, in Africa, in the world. And like you said, coaching unlocks someone's personal and professional potentials to really maximize the best of who they are. And you can't achieve the best of who you are without addressing emotional intelligence competences. So as a coach and as someone who has also been coached, this is one of the areas that I have worked with a coach, but also working with clients on identifying what are the barriers for them to really improve their emotional quotient, the EQ, and how can they relate better with us and others in the workplace, and ultimately leading to better decision making, better performance, and improved collaboration and communication at the workplace. I think those are some of the benefits of having people that are highly emotionally intelligent.
Yeah, that's very true, because I don't know if I actually shared with you why I became coach in 2014, why actually I've decided to be coach, because I was looking, yes, the motive of becoming coach, it was my personal decision, but when I look at the outcome, when I look at the cumulative actually impact to the world, there is another, no, I need actually to respond to all those leaders out there, those leaders who have actually accepted to lead by heart and not by head. So, and I believe this is actually the impact that we need to live out there. This is one of the mission statements we could do us as a coach, because we believe that when we look at the legacy that we want to leave, I think when I had Brenda actually helped me to go through emotional intelligence, because I didn't actually know when I had a burnout, I didn't know how to overcome it. So let's really, as a coach, have an impact out there. What do you think?
Yes, exactly. And emotional intelligence is one of the competencies that we should work with our leaders about. So really excited about continuing to have these discussions at home, in the workplace, in the different social areas that we have, because you can't survive in this world without high emotional intelligence. And like you said, like actually John Maxwell says, everything rises and falls on leadership.
I love it. Thank you so much, Dr. Brenda, for your time. You, as a doctor, as a coach, you are so busy, but thank you so much for accepting my invitation as my bestie. And to our viewer, I would like to thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for listening to me and my bestie. And actually, we look forward to share more on emotional intelligence, because we are all work in progress. As for now, bye-bye.